5 legendary attractions steeped in over a century of history, mystery, and even tales of the haunted. For generations, Blackpool Pleasure Beach's dark rides have sparked laughter, ignited wonder, and created memories that last long after the ride ends. Uncover the secrets, explore the wonder, and discover how these rides have made adults feel like children again. Welcome to the long and mysterious history of Blackpool Pleasure Beach's dark rides. Like many of Blackpool Pleasure Beach's classic attractions, the ghost train has changed significantly over the years. In the 1920s, pretzel rides were becoming a big hit in America, which prompted Blackpool Pleasure Beach to purchase one of their own in the late 1920s. Originally, it was named the Pretzel Ride when it opened in 1930, but that was changed to Ghost Train from 1931 onwards. The name Ghost Train was inspired by a popular play of the same title. The Ghost Train play was a theatre comedy and suspense thriller written in 1923 by English actor Arnold Ridley. After Blackpool Pleasure Beach renamed their pretzel ride, the title Ghost Train became a widely used name for pretzel-style attractions throughout the UK. Originally, Blackpool's Ghost Train was a single-deck pretzel ride, but in 1936 it was refurbished and enlarged into a double-deck version. Redesigned by Joseph Emberton, this refurbishment took place during the wider era of modernisation, at the Pleasure Beach led by Emberton himself. His designs or designs inspired by that era can still be seen at Blackpool Pleasure Beach today, most notably the Grand National Station. The Ghost Train's small drop through the centre of the ride was added in 1957. Around this time, further refurbishment and modernisation took place under Jack Ratcliffe, including a slight relocation, moving the attraction from its original site to make way for the park's newest roller coaster at the time, the Wild Mouse. The location, layout, and exterior design of the Ghost Train remain the same today, as they were after the 1957 refurbishment. But in the 1970s, more theming was added, including the skeleton on the roof of the building, and the castle-style theme was added to the facade. Does anyone watching this video remember the giant vampire bat above the main entrance? Or if so, let us know in the comments below. Blackpool Pleasure Beach once featured on the TV programme Most Haunted, where claims that the ghost train was haunted by a former employee known as Cloggy were investigated. Since the episode aired, rumours of the ride being haunted have remained with guests, claiming they felt a ghostly presence in the ride, and others claimed they were touched by ghosts on the ride. A former staff member at the Pleasure Beach is quoted as saying that at times there was something or someone that watched over us whilst working on the ghost train. It's unclear whether all of this was a clever PR stunt by the Pleasure Beach to gain media attention in the mid-2000s, but the attraction's haunting reputation has certainly stuck. At the end of the 2008 season, another spooky attraction at the Pleasure Beach called Trauma Towers permanently closed. Most of the theming was moved into the Ghost Train from 2009 onwards. Around the same time, the park made a big effort to add new scenes to the Ghost Train during every closed season. Despite the updates, the Ghost Train has retained its haunting charm throughout the decades. In more recent years, this attraction has been used during Pleasure Beach's Halloween event, Journey to Hell. The ride experience stays the same, but live actors are sometimes inside the ride building and deliver unexpected jump scares to riders from safe spaces. Blackpool Pleasure Beach has often claimed their ghost train to be the world's original ghost train, as well as the world's most haunted ghost train attraction. Alice in Wonderland opened in 1961 at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. It was designed by Arrow Development but constructed in-house by the Pleasure Beach. So, how did an Alice in Wonderland themed ride end up in an amusement park in Lancashire, England? which has no affiliation to Disney whatsoever. The idea was brought together by the unlikely trio, Walt Disney, Leonard Thompson, and Arrow Development. At the time, Arrow Development was establishing themselves as a ride manufacturer. They had the backing of Walt Disney, who had invested into their company and put a great deal of faith in Arrow to help bring his vision of Disney in California to life. This would benefit the Pleasure Beach massively because between the 60s and the 90s, Pleasure Beach built a lot of Arrow rides in the park, which helped them grow into a leading amusement park in the UK. Walt Disney and his team had also visited several amusement parks around the world to gain a better understanding of amusement park operations. Blackpool Pleasure Beach was one of the parks they visited on more than one occasion, which helped build a relationship between Walt Disney and Leonard Thompson. Leonard Thompson was the managing director of Blackpool Pleasure Beach at the time. Alice in Wonderland at the Pleasure Beach is sometimes referred to as Alice's Wonderland, or simply the Alice Ride. The later nickname comes from the fact the characters from both Alice's Adventure in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass appear throughout the attraction. One of the most asked questions about the ride is, why does Alice in Wonderland at Blackpool Pleasure Beach use the Willy Wonka theme tune? There's no official reasoning out there, but there are plenty of theories out there about this one. One theory is that the ride doesn't technically use the Willy Wonka theme tune at all, because the soundtrack was composed for the ride first. The composer is believed to have been friends with the songwriter who was working on the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory film. The music was subsequently adapted for the movie, with lyrics added later. The film debuted in 1971, 10 years after Alice in Wonderland opened at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. However, there are conflicting reports online suggesting that the music was added to the ride after the Willy Wonka film had debuted. Alice in Wonderland was caught up in the Grand National Fire in May 2004. The exterior of the ride building was damaged by the fire, but it was nowhere near as severe as the damage to the Grand National Station. Just like the Ghost Train, this attraction has been used during the Pleasure Beach's Journey to Hell event. Wallace and Gromit's Thrill-O-Matic opened at the Pleasure Beach in April 2013, but the ride system and building have been there a lot longer. Originally, this attraction was the Gold Mine, and it opened in 1971. The Gold Mine was another Arrow Development installation at the Pleasure Beach during Leonard Thompson's era as managing director. Due to cost-cutting, the Gold Mine was closed for large periods of time in 2009 and 2010, and at the end of 2011, it was closed permanently ahead of the re-theme to Wallace and Gromit's Thrill-O-Matic. Throughout the 2012 season, work was carried out on the building to make the change from Gold Mine to Wallace and Gromit. One major change was the interaction between the Gold Mine and River Caves was not carried over to Wallace and Gromit, and the Magnolia Cafe was permanently closed. The Magnolia Cafe had a viewing area where you could see both the River Caves and Gold Mine in motion. This was changed when a large themed scene was added to the old Gold Mine building for the Wallace and Gromit ride. More on how that impacted the River Caves later. Aardman Animation were involved in the project to ensure accuracy in models and scenes. For 2025, the Pleasure Beach added some new scenes to the Wallace and Gromit ride. All the new scenes are connected to the most recent film, Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul. Back in the late 90s, Blackpool Pleasure Beach fans were eagerly awaiting updates about Project 2000. In 1994, the Pleasure Beach had smashed all records with the opening of the Pepsi Max Big One, and followed it up with PlayStation The Ride in 1997, so everyone was excited to see what was next. The location of the new development was the old Funhouse location. The Funhouse was destroyed in a fire in 1991. Construction of Project 2000 began without a theme decided upon. Regardless of the theme, managing director at the time, Jeffrey Thompson, was keen to bring an immersive world-class dark ride experience to the park. Several ride manufacturers were approached about the project, but in the end it was Intamin that provided the Pleasure Beach with the ride system. The ride system was a modern equivalent of a water chute ride, with guests taken through scenes at a low speed before experiencing thrilling high-speed drops. Project 2000's ride system was tested both with and without riders before the themed scenes for the attraction were finalised. This was because the park wanted a clear understanding of the boat's speed through each part of the ride, as well as knowing where water splashes would land before deciding where themed scenes would be placed and what would feature in them. One element that was decided very early on was the use of fire effects, something visible in early testing footage when the building was still an empty shell. Project 2000 was eventually revealed as Valhalla during a press event hosted by Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Even with the reveal of the name and theme, not much else was shared about what riders could expect. The ride's theme is based on Valhalla from Norse mythology, an immortal resting place for Viking warriors. Valhalla features a wide range of special effects including fire, water, snow, thunder and lightning. Temperatures during the original ride famously plummeted to -20 degrees Celsius in some areas and shot up to 110 degrees Celsius in others. It was a groundbreaking attraction for Pleasure Beach, and still to this day there's nothing else like it here in Britain. Several companies helped bring the Valhalla project to life with themed elements and special effects, including Farmer Studios, the attraction service company, Technifex and Alt Monoglass. Jeffrey Thompson was quoted as estimating that Valhalla could bring in an extra 1 million guests per year. With the estimate and the park's pay-per-ride system in mind, Valhalla was designed to operate with 25 boats at a time. Valhalla opened in June 2000 and was officially launched by TV presenter Jonathan Ross and British screenwriter, producer Jane Goldman. At the time of opening, Valhalla was sponsored by the Daily Star newspaper in an initial 3-year deal. The Pleasure Beach believed this would help give their new attraction nationwide coverage. From a ride experience point of view, Valhalla must be considered a success. It has repeatedly won awards for being the world's best water ride, even doing so in the years it was closed for reimagining. From a financial perspective, however, fans of Blackpool Pleasure Beach have long debated whether it was a success or a failure due to its high running costs. Valhalla's capacity decreased and the ride stopped operating with its original 25-boat service. By the mid to late 2000s, it was more common to see Valhalla operating with 16 or less boats in service. In 2011, rumours about Valhalla's removal began circulating on fan forums. Instead, Valhalla underwent major refurbishment, including a complete rebuild of the facade. Inside the attraction, some of the original scenes were removed and audio was improved. Here's a fun fact: sections of old track off the big one were used as part of the support structure for Valhalla's original facade, but they were removed when the facade refurbishment work was carried out. Following the refurbishment, Valhalla reopened in May 2012. The attraction once again claimed the title of the world's best water ride, and from 2015 to 2019, it won the award every year. In December 2019, Blackpool Pleasure Beach confirmed that Valhalla would be closed throughout 2020 for reimagining and would reopen in 2021 for the park's 125th anniversary season. At the time of the announcement, nobody knew the world was a few months away from locking down due to COVID-19. Due to supply chain issues and other unknown reasons, Valhalla's reimagining was delayed with the reopening date pushed back to 2022. Reimagined Valhalla eventually reopened in 2023. The closure was more about refurbishment and sustainability than retheming, but the Pleasure Beach did change some of the scenes inside the ride. One significant change was the removal of the backwards drop. Originally, the boats were pulled up a small lift hill, then driven by wheels onto a moving platform that positioned them for a drop while facing backwards. This side-by-side moving platform was replaced with a new turntable, which now rotates the boats into position to descend the drop facing forwards. Valhalla opened for technical rehearsals in April 2023. After a few weeks of tech rehearsals, a media event happened to showcase Valhalla before it officially opened a few hours later. During the reimagining, Valhalla's Song of the Elders soundtrack was replaced with a new score that incorporates storytelling throughout the ride. The new audio was produced by Glenn Robertson, who has created music for The Big One, Icon, Launchpad, and The Hot Ice Show at the Pleasure Beach. At the time of recording, the River Caves is currently closed for reimagining, but we can't leave out the second oldest attraction at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. The River Caves opened at the Pleasure Beach in 1905. Back then it was called the River Caves of the World. According to sources, the River Caves was an American export brought to the Pleasure Beach, following its time at Coney Island and at the Earls Court Exhibition Centre in the UK. The River Caves were described as an educational simulation of journeys through a selection of brightly coloured caves from around the world. While the journey through the ride has mostly remained the same, the facade and scenery inside the attraction have changed significantly over the years, with scenes replaced or modernised to keep the attraction in line with the times while retaining its purpose. Percy Metcalfe worked with the Pleasure Beach between the 1930s and 1950s, alongside Joseph Emberton, to redesign and modernise areas of the Pleasure Beach. In the 1950s, Metcalfe helped redesign the River Caves to give it a new look. The makeover was described as a Mayan theme, completely different from the original facade, which resembled the opening of a giant cave with a magnificent waterfall. Jeffrey Thompson became the managing director of the Pleasure Beach in 1976, and was keen to carry out plans his father, Leonard Thompson, had put together for redesigning or modernising some of the River Cave scenes. These plans included adding a new scene featuring Angkor Wat temples, inspired by Leonard Thompson's visit to Cambodia shortly before he passed away. It is reported that Jeffrey Thompson formed a worthy tribute to his father's plans with the redesigned River Caves. One of the more recent changes to the River Caves came in time for the 2012 season. Inside the Blue Grotto scene, the interaction between the River Caves, the gold mine, and Magnolia Cafe was lost with the closure of the gold mine ahead of its Wallace and Gromit transformation. The old Blue Grotto scene was a pleasant setting midway through the ride. It was atmospheric with low lighting and a softly playing soundtrack. The Tunnel of Love sign is a relic of the attraction's appearance in the UK popular soap opera Coronation Street, where it featured in a storyline involving a character being taken through a tunnel of love by an unwanted admirer. Since 2019, the River Caves have been part of every Journey to Hell event at the Pleasure Beach. A doorway into its station area connects with Pleasure Beach's underground tunnels. Those tunnels have been converted into a scare maze walkthrough for every Journey to Hell event. In 2025, the River Caves building was converted into a scare maze walkthrough for the event. The River Caves closed in early 2024 due to major technical issues, and in early 2025, the Pleasure Beach announced it would remain closed for a reimagining project. No completion date has been set for this yet, so at the time of recording, it's unknown when the River Caves will reopen. It's also unknown if the ride will be completely rethemed during the reimagining project. If you enjoyed hearing about the history of the dark rides at Pleasure Beach, be sure to give the video a like and consider subscribing to the channel too. We'd love to hear your own memories of dark rides at the Pleasure Beach, so please do share them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.